Solid Mustang here coming at you. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a great evening. Easter's coming up, so everybody have a happy Easter. And lots of talk about Call of Duty, so I figured, alright, we'll fire up some Call of Duty. Got the old school out. I figured I'd have a little fun with that. Got a couple gameplays here for you in Call of Duty 4. The big thing going around right now, besides the fact that they're going to announce they just announced a trailer for Star Wars Battlefront. The big news is a lot of people are signing a petition to have Modern Warfare 2 come back on the new consoles, on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and I think this is a horrible idea. And I was so glad to hear Thunder, who makes sense, and he doesn't follow the rhetoric that everybody else does. And I gotta agree with Thunder 10,000% that a Modern Warfare 2 remake would be awful. And they would have to remake the whole game to make it playable. You had horrible streaks in that thing. The cold-blooded pro made you immune to everything. The commando, you stab somebody from like 30 feet away. The quick scoping in that game was so freaking simple. It wasn't even funny. You've got all kinds of problems with the care packages, the javelin glitch. It just was not a good game. I'm sorry. The maps were not very. There's a couple maps that were decent, but for the most part, the maps were just not good. Yeah, they were not good maps. So, I don't know. It's a bad idea. And Thunder gets into more details. And I tell you what, if you want to follow a guy, you follow Thunder. I follow Thunder. Listen to what he's got to say, because he doesn't follow the, oh, this is the greatest game ever stuff. If it's not good, he'll tell you it's not good. If it's OP, he'll tell you it's OP. I even heard, I think even he would say that C4 sandwiches are, he likes throwing them, but I think he would admit they're OP. He's realistic about the games. He doesn't fall in line with everybody just because. So, anyways, let's do a quick list, alright? Real quick. And we're talking multiplayer only here, alright? Multiplayer only. Worst to the best Call of Duty. So the worst Call of Duty for the multiplayer was Ghost. I think we all agree on that. Bad maps, just did not have a good flow of the game. Bad 6 ways from Sunday. Next up for me was War at War. The graphics weren't good. Bouncy baddies you couldn't see. They put tanks in there for some stupid reason. The maps were not very good. Dome was decent in that, and that's the only one I can think of. Asylum was kind of decent. Next up for me, Modern Warfare 3. Felt slower than molasses. Had a couple decent guns, couple decent streaks, but everybody ran with B2 because it was in a support package. So you always had one or two of those, or 3 or 4 of those coming rolling in. Perks again were not well done.
Enemy UAV is airborne.
Now, next up for me, everybody start typing here, because here is Modern Warfare 2. For all the reasons I mentioned earlier, the perk system in Modern Warfare 2 was completely jacked up. I'm sorry guys, it just was not a good game. It was an okay game, but it's not worth redoing. You really gotta be careful on redoing it and remaking a game. Typically, games don't do that well when you do that. So you really have to watch, how you do that. And I don't think Modern Warfare 2 would be a good way to do it. Tell you one thing, I probably wouldn't buy it. So next up for me, Advanced Warfare, the game that's out now. Hey, let's face it, it looks good. This actually got a big boost up because, I had it next to War at War, which has been third from the bottom, because they've taken away the classic team deathmatch, classic gameplay ability. They put it back, and because they put it back, that helps me out. You know, I still don't like a lot of the sci-fi stuff, but it's not terrible. So, and in the classic game mode, I enjoy it a lot more in the classic game mode. Next up for me after that is Black Ops 1. I thought the graphics let it down. A couple other things let it down, but overall, it's actually a pretty decent game.
UAV is online.
I definitely had fun playing it. There was some good maps in it.
UAV is online.
Not bad. Runner-up for the top spot, Black Ops 2. I like Black Ops 2. The sci-fi stuff lets it down, but the gunplay and stuff is pretty good. They sped up the game, and it was good. I like the fact that to use your ghost, you gotta to be invisible to radar. You have to be moving. I think it was a great addition. If I got that wrong, I think I might have got that wrong, which Call of Duty it is. But anyway, you know, the campers, they're always going to be campers, but it wasn't as bad. You can do a lot with them to help keep the flow of the game going. So, you know, overall, pretty good game. Pretty good maps. The best Call of Duty is the one I'm playing right now. Call of Duty 4. Hey, this launched it. This launched it, and you know how many maps that were stolen from Call of Duty 4 and placed in other games? I believe there were 7 maps stolen. Speaking of campers, watch me get this guy in the game. Boom! Stupid camper sitting back there in there. Throw a little grenade in there. Have a good time. So, but you know, there were 7 maps. I'm trying to think of all the names. Now, let's just run through a couple of them real quick. You know, they remade Strike, Crash, Overgrown, Pipeline, are the ones I can think of offhand real fast. You know, they directly took those off of this game and put them into the whatever game version they had going at that time. You know, I guess imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So, and then on top of it, they did like an indirect copy too. And the indirect copy is, you know, okay, here's your example. Go to Black Ops 1, look at Havana, look at that map. Just go bring up the map somewhere. You know, Google it or whatever. There's a couple really good sites out there. Then look at Crossfire on Call of Duty 4. They're the same map. They're the same map. There's a couple minor differences on the map, but not. But you look at those maps, and they are nearly identical. You know that Strike starts out. If you look down low, starts out bottom right, moves over to the main street, go up, and it moves off to the left. Havana, exact opposite. You start at the bottom, to the right, to the main road, you go up, it goes off to the right. So you still have that Z, if you will, that kind of flat Z. And then the buildings on the sides, there's a, in the middle, on the one side, there's a bus, and on the, that's on Crossfire, on Call of Duty 4, Havana, there's a truck there. It's an exact same spot. So you can get on top of the truck and you can shoot over it. They're in the exact same spot. You know, they're mirror images of each other is what it is. So, you know, Call of Duty 4 also launched everything. And it's its simplicity. The only thing you have is, I guess, sci-fi, but it's not really sci-fi because they're realistic, is the fact of you have night vision goggles. That's the only real thing in here. You couldn't have, you know, 3 attachments on your gun. You got 1. And some of those attachments took away from your perks. This game had great perk balance. So, an example. Tier 2. Second tier on your perks. You had your choice of stopping power, you had choice of UAV jam, juggernaut, rapid fire, and danger zone. Which, by the way, were the 5 probably most powerful perks in the whole game. And you know what? You only got one. So you had to pick which one you wanted. You only get one. You want the extra health? You gotta give up stopping power. You wanted your gun to shoot faster? I mean, the P90 with that rapid fire would tear through stuff. You absolutely shred people. Then you know, you couldn't have the stopping power. You couldn't have all the other stuff going on. And yes, I just screwed up that smoke grenade. But that was part of the good. That was a good thing. Was that you couldn't become the super guy. You had to actually, I don't know, play a shooter by actually shooting. You know, this game was really is the one that I would do the remake of. Here's how I would do the remake. I want to talk about this real quick. Here's how I do the remake. All I do is clean up the graphics on this game. Clean up the graphics, clean up the connections, get good hit markers, and clean up the spawn points so you don't get spawned killed. I take the triple frag, I make it to 2 grenades. So instead of 3, you get 2. I take off martyrdom. Well, I redo martyrdom. If you don't leave it, I probably would take it off and put something else in. Maybe something, you know, put in like Stalker or something. Move faster while aiming down the sight. But I take a, if I kept martyrdom, I make it a much smaller blast radius, and not a grenade, but like an IED you have on you that detonates after, you know, 5-6 seconds.
Our UAV is online.
The guns I leave the same, the way the guns work I leave the same, the gun mechanics, I leave all that stuff the same. All that stuff I leave the same. The perks I leave the same. The maps I leave the same. You could do the best of maps. So you have, you know, say if you want to add Dome, and, you know, if you want to add, I hate Nuketown, but if you want to add Nuketown in here, you know, in a Call of Duty 4 format, that's fine. I don't know about adding guns. Maybe there's a couple of them that I might add, but for the most part, I probably wouldn't. The quick scoping in this game was an accident. It's so said by even the developers who made it. It was an accident. It was a fault of a gun mechanic, and that was it. And that's fine. I can deal with that. The last standers, I leave them. I could deal with the last stander. You got killed by a last stander. You were probably worried on reload, you know, or just didn't see the guy or whatever, because it took like 4 or 5 shots to drop you. It took a bit to drop you. The one thing I love, that sound right there, headshot. Headshot was fantastic. So maybe I do a remake of Call of Duty 4, maybe a remake of Black Ops. I don't know. First one, I don't know. Probably not. Probably do Call of Duty 4. But they needed to bring back the fun in Call of Duty. So, anyways, just want to get back into it. Special shout out 402 Thunder. You need to look him up. You need to follow him on Twitter. You need to follow him on YouTube, because man, that guy, he just lays it out straight. And that's all you can ask for. So this is Solid Mustang. I've got your 6.